Hello, and welcome to Next Step Tarot. This is a timeless collective reading focused on just one thing. This is week 3 in the pattern series, and we are looking at why breaking this feels so difficult. All right, this is about you finding clarity so that you can figure out what your next step to move forward is. Please take what resonates with you, leave the rest, and let's go ahead and get started. We can start with a deep breath. We'll breathe in deeply. We'll hold it for a pause of 2, and then we will release it as slowly as we possibly can. Slowly and fully. As long as it goes out longer than it comes in, the better. Nice deep breath in. Awesome. Okay, I think everyone feels a little more centered now. Let's go ahead and focus this reading on the resistance you might have to change. Not the pattern that's creating it, but why this keeps continuing. Why this keeps going on and on. We'll examine what attachment there is. Possibly the fear, the reinforcement. We'll identify the tie and the shift that is going to be required to break this. Please keep in mind that difficulty is not random. It has structure, and it can, as something that has structure, be picked apart and disassembled. All right, so let's take a look at the pattern that you're trying to break right now. We're going to define the loop, okay? As I'm shuffling, I am asking for clear and grounded insight into your situation. All right, this is the pattern that you're trying to break, and you received the Queen of Pentacles. And this tells me it's probably to do with self-esteem. Or there are two energies here. One could be financial and the other, they're tied together. They are tied together. So self-esteem based on possibly a spending habit, a pattern of doing something here. Maybe... I'm getting a very clear message of doing something that makes you feel unworthy of respect after you do it. Because we have the Queen of Pentacles, I am picking up that it could possibly be for you a pattern of overspending, of giving too much. It's in the doing. You do something, you take an action, and then after you do this thing, you feel shame, disappointment in yourself. You feel less worthy. You question yourself. So this pattern is definitely about an action you're taking and how you feel after you take it. And for this message, it feels very much in alignment with finances. We're going to move on, and we're going to find out why it feels so hard for you to release this. We have the Five of Pentacles. Okay, this makes sense. This is the emotional attachment, the feelings of loss. This is comfortable for you, okay? It's familiar to you. This you can control. If you were to stop spending, there is a feeling of like you would not feel safe, like you would not be respected. And it's giving something to you emotionally that keeps you from feeling loss. Even though you may be losing time, you may be losing money, the idea of not doing this makes you feel less than. So that is the cycle. One creates the illusion of unworthiness, but the action actually creates what you're trying to avoid. And this has become a habit, a pattern. And I'm hearing, if this is you giving your time to somebody, too much time, way too much energy. If you were to pull back, this is why you feel it's difficult to break this. You feel like they would leave. If anybody found out that you're spending the money the way you're spending the money, when however that goes for you, that is what keeps you here. Because if you were to suddenly stop, you feel that people would notice and be asking you if you're broke. Okay, so the actual feeling that you get from this is creating the exact pattern that you're trying to avoid. All right, and this is what you get from this, is to maintain that familiarity, this perceived image that you have, that people see you a certain way, and the loss of either a relationship or status is coming through very clearly here. All right, let's see what the fear of breaking this is. We've already touched on it here. And I'm also getting here with this Five of Pentacles that you may be helping, giving money, giving time, because you feel like it's your calling to help people in need. Okay, that right there is huge. I did not feel like you were doing this out of pettiness or anything else. It felt like you were definitely, and I still feel it strongly, giving in order, because you feel that's your calling. You feel called to do that. Not only is it a comfort zone, it is who you are at your core. Okay. So let's see what the biggest fear here is if you were to break this. What's the major resistance you're holding to this change, to breaking this? The Seven of Wands. Your respect, who you are, okay? The fear of loss, the instability, people looking at you as somebody who had it and lost it. Because this card, just like I said the other day in your other reading, the Seven of Wands comes after the Six of Wands, which represents a major success. You achieved something here. You have status. People respect you. They're looking at you. You're like standing above everyone here. So it is the fear of an identity change, you know, a loss of status in other people's eyes, how you are viewed. That is the biggest fear. All right. And this is what breaking this pattern would force you to actually deal with. And that's why it's so difficult. Yeah, that is exactly why it is so difficult for you to break this. Why it feels difficult. There's a perceived difference. All right, let us move into what's keeping this alive. Is there someone or something in particular here that is keeping this going, that's perpetuating this? Is someone saying something to you? Is this a thought process of your own? It's the moon. It's an emotional tie. It's the protector energy. All right, this is definitely people-oriented. Your internal narratives, the things that you say to yourself, those things that you're emotionally pulled and drawn towards. There definitely is emotional attachment here. So again, I'm getting like your heart space. You've got a big heart. You feel like this is your calling. And you feel like you're bound to do this. And this is what's keeping this cycle active for you, because you do not want to have an identity shift. You do not want to lose respect. And this is very, very emotional for you. This is your heart space. This is who you are at your core. All right. Let's go ahead. Look at what the required shift is going to be for you to break this, okay? What's that thing that you can do that's going to interrupt this cycle, this pattern? Is it going to be setting a boundary? Is it going to be an attitude change? Is it going to be a behavioral change? What are we looking at here, Spirit? Six of Cups. I'm getting boundaries. We've got a mother and child here. Okay, now there's instruction. There's respect. But the mother is definitely showing this child something. And I'm getting boundaries. Okay, I'm getting this is how it's done. We give. And then there's expectation here. All right. I'm getting to dealing with your inner child, why you feel called to do what you're doing here. I do feel like it was something you learned in your childhood, and you've just accepted this. Somebody taught you this. Maybe you were taught this. This is something that somebody said to you many, many times. That you have more than other people. That you should be blessed. And that you should be helping other people. You should be giving. Okay, you might give too much money to homeless people and not have enough for yourself. Okay, you want to help because that's who you are. But you may be giving too much. And that's what the imbalance is here. If it were a normal, healthy amount of time that you're giving, of help that you're providing, finances that you're putting out there, then this wouldn't be an issue. But there's an imbalance here. And it feels very much like it was something you've been taught since you were a little child, or you've believed it. You heard it when you were young, and you've believed it ever since. All right, so that right there, we need to change that thought process. All right, and this will disrupt the pattern for you. If you can identify exactly why and how this got created, you will be able to disrupt it. All right, let's look at your homework for this week. All right. we're going to work on the pattern interruption. For 3 days, I want you to do the following things. Okay, for the next 3 days. 1, identify the moment that you see this pattern beginning. All right. And before you actually move on that pattern, before you take any action or even react to it, pause for 60 seconds. Take a deep breath. Take a deep breath for 60 seconds. Do that for 1 full minute if you need to, before you take any action or even react in any way. And then 3, I would like for you to choose one different response, even if it's extremely uncomfortable for you. So as you get the urge to take part in this action, whatever it is, take that deep breath, pause for as long as you can. I know some of you are going to say, a whole minute, I can't do that. Practice it. Start with what you've got before you respond and before you react. I'm trying to get you to find a response that works for you. All right, so choose one different response. All right, what you're tracking here is, what is the trigger? What causes you to feel like you need to do this? Okay, does it go all the way back here? What is it in that moment, though, that you're feeling that makes you feel like you have to do this? That you have to give this time, that you have to say yes, that you have to spend that money, that you have to give someone that money. That's your trigger. Write it down. Keep track of it. All right. How do you usually do it? Do you just cave? Okay. Track your normal reaction. What do you usually feel? What do you think in your head? And then what do you do immediately when this trigger happens? All right, then keep track of your new response to this, okay? So you're going to choose a different response. Try one, and if it does not work for you, it is not a failure. You're working through something here. You're learning how to process this. You're learning how to change this, all right? So if the first time you choose a different response and it doesn't work for you, you can try it again. Or you can try a different one. But I would at least try it one time to see if it works or not, and keep track of why you felt it didn't work or it did work. If something works for you, stick with that one. Do not try a new one unless you feel like that did not work for you. Okay? Because if you've got success, keep piling on from the success that you've already got. Your goal here is to interrupt the pattern at least once before you engage with that pattern. Okay? At least one time. All right. That is your message for this week. I hope you've enjoyed this message, and I want you to keep in mind that this situation is not going to last forever. This is just a single step on the journey of your life. Make the next step that you take be a deliberate one, a clear step, and then just take that next step. If you would like personal guidance, there are links below. All right, until next time, namaste.